Minnesota Vikings back at it again, top of the third round, number 66 overall. The pick that they got in the trade from the Detroit Lions, bringing in Oklahoma linebacker Brian Asamoah, getting after it, man. Now it's surprising because the Vikings they took Asamoah before Nakobe Dean, who was seen as a fringe first round pick, before Chad Muma, who was seen as a second round pick as well. But the Vikings like what they see from the absolute heat-seeking missile that is Brian Asamoah. So let's talk about the brand new Vikings linebacker today. Background: 22 years young, 6 foot 226, redshirt junior, former 3-star recruit from Columbus, Ohio. Took his talent south, committed to Oklahoma. 2-year starter for the Sooners after starring on special teams as an underclassman. In 2021, he led the team with tackles with 80, 4 tackles for loss, a sack, 2 forced fumbles as well, plus 14 pressures, a 73.8 PFF grade. Named second team All Big 12, was a first team All Academic, which you love to see as well. Shined at the Senior Bowl, was the MVP linebacker or something, but he looked good in practice. He looked good in the game. Combine, just killed it, man. He has a 8.27 RAS, relative athletic score. Ran a 4.56 40, great in the jumps as well. If you watch him on film, agility-wise, he's phenomenal as well. Just short area quickness as well as change of direction. Now, the reason that he fell, if Brian Asamoah was, 6'2", 250, he would have been a first-round pick. But since he is an undersized tweener, that's why he fell. But he's a tough, instinctual football player, great closing speed as well. And he is the Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah of this year's draft, where Joke was seen as a first-round pick last year, fell to the second round, had some medical issues in there as well. But Kwesi Adofo-Mensah was part of the Browns front office last season when they drafted Joke in the second round. So now Kwesi gets his own Joke in Asamoah. Asamoah, pretty close. Yeah, whatever. And Asamoah is exactly what you need in the modern NFL. Since you have a lot of receivers over the middle who can run, you have tight ends who are moving all over the place. You need a cover linebacker who can stay on the field all 3 downs, a guy who can hit, who can run, who can cover, is not a liability in the run game. And also, Asamoah only had 1 touchdown allowed in over the last 2 seasons in coverage. So it's something that you absolutely love to see. His scouting report from NFL.com, Lance Zierlein. Overview: see ball, get ball linebacker with an itchy, twitchy trigger and explosive pursuit speed. Asamoah is adequate at reading keys and diagnosing the action with quickness. His pursuit pass to the football are aggressive, very aggressive, but they're lacking in technique to maintain his gap integrity. His playing style is likely to have him around the football more often than not, but consistency is finishing tackles could be an issue for him in the pros. He's athletic in pass coverage and could stand out on special teams. Asamoah is a 3-4 weak side inside linebacker or a 4-3 will with the potential to find starting reps down the road. Now, weak side inside linebacker as the Vikings transition to a 3-4 or an odd man front, and the Vikings bringing in Jordan Hicks, veteran from the Eagles as well as the Cardinals, and he is going to be sort of a placeholder, right? So he's taking the spot of Nick Vigil, taking the spot of Anthony Barr, kind of hold down the fort. Eric Kendricks is still one of the best off-ball linebackers in the game, but he's getting up there in age, and I think it's going to be tough to keep a guy like Asamoah off the field. I think that he's going to quickly become a fan favorite. I think he's going to tear things up in special teams, and I think that he will work his way into the defense sooner rather than later. I think that Ed Donatel and Mike Smith and the rest of the crew, it's going to be hard for them to keep Asamoah on the bench. And even though the Vikings do have a relatively good young linebacker depth with Blake Lynch and Chaz Surratt and Troy Dye, I think Asamoah is just head and shoulders above them at this point. So I'm really excited to have him in, because you can add a little bit of size to him, but even though he's undersized, he's got a big-time heart, and he just loves the game. And that's something that you find in common with a lot of the draft picks that they've made, where the guys who just get after it, competitive fire and drive is what the Vikings are bringing to the table the first 2 rounds. So you got Lewis Seen, Andrew Booth Jr., as well as Asamoah. They're really revamping the back end of that defense, and they're stressing coverage, they're stressing hitting, they're stressing speed. They're getting it there. And Ed Ingram can also pass block, and he can play guard. So that's really it. But, man, I'm fired up. Asamoah is a guy that I really loved. We took him in a handful of our mock drafts. But specifically what the Vikings wanted, over Nakobe Dean, over Chad Muma, it's interesting. So Asamoah is that dude, and welcome to the Vikes. Let's go get him. Let's go get it. It's already an extremely fun draft, man. It's only day 2. But your thoughts on our thoughts. Vikings draft Oklahoma linebacker Brian Asamoah. Let us know your thoughts on our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.